Yes, we do.
Okay, good. All right. All right. So we'll wait like a few more minutes to make sure we have
Can you guys see me? This is Ronnie. Can you guys see me or no?
No,
no.
Ronnie, we
No,
only
we
No.
see
see
a
a
still
picture.
image.
Hold on, hold on.
Are both applicants here?
We are Alas.
Okay. And
Hi.
hi. And is the other applicant
We are 3 or 4. It's me, him, and Alessandro.
So
okay. That's for the Court Street
Oh,
location?
yes.
Okay. And then there's one for there's a Fifth Avenue location too.
Yeah, Ronnie's here too.
Okay.
I'm representing both of them.
Oh, it's-
You're representing
Three
both
cases on the
Both
docket,
applicants.
correct?
what? I'm sorry.
I'm representing 390 Social Court Corp and 552 Court Street.
Right. Right. And Ronnie's here for 390 social.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. All right. And the only person from our committee besides me is Reg.
Right, so we're nowhere near quorum.
No.
And again, am I incorrect? Do we have three on the docket?
No, just two.
Oh, just two. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Right. So we'll give it some time because I really want to make sure we have more than us.
Right. Well, I mean, we're all early.
Right. Well, but right.
Started yet.
Yeah.
It's 6:29.
Right.
And again, for clarity, it's 522 court. Is that correct?
552.
552.
552.
Yes. Okay. Across the street from me.
Se la copia.
Administration.
Acho così, sai. Acho così. Ah, vabbè.
These were your maps. I'm in a meeting. I'm so sorry. In a meeting. Can I sit there somewhere else? Oh, across the street.
Once again, last time, Frank Hall Chelsea Victory Hall, Chelsea Victory Hall, Pizza Game. 9:40 morning,
Hi, Rachel.
Hello. We're just waiting to see if we get any more committee members. Pretty light on committee members right now.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. So, we'll wait a little longer, see if anyone else signs on.
Ty had told me that Reg was going to help play host.
Yeah, Reg is
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, and could you stop playing with whatever you're playing with, Glenn? It's very disturbing. Thank you.
Samuel Farrington, are you a community member?
Yes, I'm a neighbor of 390 Social.
Okay. Just checking. We didn't get, like, sometimes we have new committee members and they don't necessarily tell us. So just checking. I know we're not even close to quorum right now. So we'll wait another 5 minutes and see what happens. Oh. Gabriel Estadella, are you a community member?
Hi, Gabrielle, can you hear us? Gabriel, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Yes,
Okay, I see. One of your neighbors. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, hi, this is Gabriel. Yes, I can hear you. I'm a community member.
Okay. Okay. And Tia Smalls?
Yes, I'm a community member.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I know who Lever Branch is.
Rachel, what are our numbers? How many on our committee now?
I thought we were 11 or 12.
Okay.
So I think we got to get to 6 or 7. Actually, let me see if it's on here.
I had a little trouble signing in. The link that I received, the Zoom invitation I received today,
Yeah.
required you to enter a meeting ID, and I didn't have one. So I ended up going to Michael's email for today and signing up through that link.
Yeah, I said I also didn't have the invite, but Reg said that he said that last week.
I had trouble signing in myself.
Right. That's what I do worry that we have some people that are.
Sorry, am I muted?
Who?
I'm Jacob.
Oh, okay. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I also had difficulty entering. I was asking for a passcode.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little worried that maybe we're not getting everybody that we should because there's technical difficulties.
Rachel, I just went to the CB6 website and I'm looking at the Permits and Licenses Committee roster. And this hasn't been updated in a couple of years. We still have people who haven't been board members in 3 or 4 years, I'd say. Marvin Michelle, Tom Miskell, Josh Scaller. These guys haven't been on our committee in quite a while. So my best guess from these names is that we are a committee of about 8. And that does sound familiar, 7 or 8. If that's any help.
I believe we are approaching quorum right now.
I believe Reg is correct.
Okay, I just checked with Mike to make sure that we were, apparently the passcode went out to some people, because originally when the meeting was gonna be not, with the hosts or whatever, so we're good. I think that everybody that needs to, so it looks like everybody got through that needs to get through, and Mike is monitoring to make sure that if anyone emails trying to get through that can't get through, he'll get them through. So we should be okay. We are one away from a quorum. We need 7. So, and I think we have 6. But it's 15 minutes past, and so I don't think we should wait anymore. I think we should start. So with that, my name is Rachel. I'm the Permits and Licenses Chair. Just to make sure, I saw somebody sign on, and I thought they left. There was an H, and they disappeared. But I just wanted to make sure the public people that are here just on the 390 social, we'll start with 390 social just because, actually, I'm sorry, we'll start with the Court Street. We'll let the Court Street people start, and I don't think anybody that's here for the public is for the Court Street location, so we'll have them go first, and then we'll have the 390 social go. Okay, and Mr. Kelly, you're here for both applicants?
Correct.
Okay, all right. All right, so who is here for, sorry, let me just get back to that screen. Yes, I see. You're Andrea Grillo?
Yes,
Okay, and this is 552 Court Street.
yes,
Okay, let me just pull up the questionnaire. Here we go. And it's going to be Aromi?
Yep.
Saying
Yes.
it right? Am I saying it right?
Aromi, yes.
Aromi, okay. All right, so why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'll make a quick presentation.
Oh.
This is an on-premise liquor license transfer application for a last group, DBA Aromi. We're located at 552 Court Street between West 9th and Garnet Street. What it means a transfer is they're transferring assets, which enables us to get a temporary license. The premise was most recently occupied by Filippo's, whom we bought the restaurant from. They had a full liquor license from October 15, 2020 until their recent closing. Prior to that, Aperture had a full liquor license there from March of 2014 to 2020. Luna Rosa was also licensed at this location from approximately 2008 to 2014. They were all Italian restaurants like us. We are following the same seating plan as Filippo's, 8 tables, 16 seats, and an 8-seat bar inside, 9 tables and 18 seats in the backyard. Our hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Friday and Saturday. There'll be background music only. All 4 owners have worked in the industry at licensed premises for a combined 25 plus years. They found an opportunity in this place to fulfill their dreams of having their own restaurant, and they brought it. There will be at least 1 on-site owner-operator there at all times. And Andrea, he went around to all the neighbors after posting everywhere and spoke to a lot of them, and he can talk to this.
Yes. Yeah, I went around the block and West 9th Street, talking to people, let them know, introduce myself, saying that we were going to open this place, this Italian classic Italian food and pizza, and I let them know. They were actually all nice to me, and they were actually, a couple of them, they were even excited. Oh yes, we're gonna check it out, and I assured them that, you know, we've been in the industry for many years, that we, you know, think we know what we're doing, and the main reason, I mean, the purpose of this restaurant would be to give food and drinks to people, and there's not going to be any loud situation or, you know, or anything like that. So that's what we want to do, and I assured all of them that that's what is gonna happen. I also posted all the flyers as requested on the poles. On the poles and at the lights. I laminated them and posted all the flyers in the building across the street on Garnet and West 9. And I actually made sure in a period of like a week that they were on. I put it back on, and I did my best to work. Yes, I'm finished. Yeah. Well, unless you want to ask me something.
Does anyone have any questions? Yep, Glenn.
Sure. I noticed on your application, you checked off that you were including a menu. I don't see one there, but I know what Italian food is. Just it's dinner time. Thought maybe it would whet my appetite. But more importantly, there was Mr. Kelly mentioned background music, and I just want to make sure that will not be outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not allowed to play music outside.
Yeah, absolutely. We will follow any regulation as requested. As I said, the main purpose of this place is to really let the people experience really good, we think, Italian food and pizza. And we're not gonna throw like events like party of like with DJ or anything at night. That's not in our plans at all. Yes.
Any other questions? Yes, Glenn?
In that case, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
Okay. Second from Rebecca. Okay. So this will be, I don't believe we don't, nobody signed on during their presentation. So we don't have quorum, so it would be a recommendation. And that just means that it would be approved at the full board meeting after a discussion. But any discussion on the recommendation from the committee? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Basically, okay, if you're not in favor, just we'll follow Peter's way. If you're not in favor, put it into the chat. Otherwise, I'll take your silence as affirmation.
Just confirming, Rachel, my name is Jacob Ryman. I'm a committee member as well. I just sometimes people forget.
What?
But I'm just confirming that I logged in through another mechanism, so I'm just making sure I am a committee member as well.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but we still
just
don't
making
have
sure.
quorum.
Understood. Sorry. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't see anything. So the recommendation passes. So congratulations. And
Thank you very much.
we'll let you know if it makes it onto at the full board, but it doesn't seem like there should be any reasons why it doesn't. So thank you and welcome to the neighborhood.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Come
and have a bite as soon as you can.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
When do you anticipate opening?
In about a month, I think.
Okay.
4 or 5 weeks.
Yes. Trying to
Okay.
make it nice as possible. Yes.
Actually, at home, please. You're
Homey.
all invited, actually.
All right.
I live across the
Thank you.
street. Glenn will
Okay.
accompany me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. The next applicant is sorry, let me pull up that. 390 Fifth Avenue. Okay. And Mr. Kelly, you're presenting on that too?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I see somebody else is logging in. I don't think that's a committee member though. But go ahead.
All right, this is an on-premise liquor license application for 390 Social Corp. Doing business as 390 Social. We're located at 390 Fifth Avenue between 6th and 7th Streets. It was most recently occupied by Slope Space, which was a photo event space. They had photo shoots and events like private dinners, weddings, fundraisers, etc. They used the first and second floors and the backyard. Before that, Excelsior was there. They had an on-premise liquor license and were a tavern from at least June of 2009 to July of 2015. We're opening a tavern with hours of operation of 4 p.m. to midnight, Monday to Thursday, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. on Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Saturday, and 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Sunday. We have 10 tables with 38 seats and a 9-seat bar for a total capacity of 47. We originally notified the community board that we'd be using the backyard. We will not be using it anymore. We have held some private events while we wait for our license, and it appears the backyard is very troublesome, especially to some neighbors. We were contacted for these events by people who held events in the space before with the former occupant. We realize now that was not a good idea and definitely not a good idea to use the backyard, which had music in it. There were speakers in the yard playing music, which we have since removed, and they will not be put back there. All the owners have experience in the industry. Ronnie has been the general manager at Rachel's Taqueria since 2016. It's right down the block at 408 Fifth Avenue. And the people in the neighborhood know him from there. And he's going to be running this place just as professionally as he runs that. We did have a mishap with a wedding that, spilled out into the yard with the music. Juan was a private captain at 11 Madison Park, which is located at 11 Madison Avenue in the city. Xavier was also a server at Cosby, which is located at 35 East 26th Street from 2014 to 2018. This will be the first business they own after working in the industry for many years and for others. And at least one of them will be on site during operating hours. Ronnie has reached out to neighbors, people, he's spoken to them, and he can speak more to that. He did post the neighborhood, make sure the hearing was advertised.
Okay. Do you want to speak, Ronnie, or do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you guys can hear me. Yeah, I mean, everything that you guys directed, we posted, we communicated. I was able to have some communication with our neighbors back. I know, we did some stuff that, it was a little loud, the speakers in the back irritated a lot of people. Definitely big mistakes that was completely taken off. I was able to communicate with some neighbors. Some neighbors I spoke face to face. Some neighbors, I think Gabriel that is here, I spoke through email. Trying to explain, but once again, my point since the very beginning, I'm not just involved with Rachel, but also Bar Crudo, which we own. So our service is very low key. It's soft music, completely opposite of what is being experienced in the backyard right now. So we just made a decision to completely close up the backyard. We took off all the speakers out. My goal is to have an institution that people in the neighborhood feel proud of. And in no reason whatsoever, I want to irritate or get anybody feel uncomfortable. So we fixed everything that was making that happen. And we sent a letter to the neighborhood, sent a letter to some of the buildings, the building in the back. Also, the only person I spoke to, I communicated through email was Gabriel. But I hope everybody else got my letter. And then I got to speak face to face with a lot of neighbors. So, just to make sure that they understand that our intention is to have a positive presence in the neighborhood.
Okay. Are there questions? We'll do first questions from the committee, and then I know we have members from the community that are here as well. Any questions from the committee?
Right, yeah, this is Jacob.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll have Pauline first and then Jacob.
It's okay. I'll have Pauline first and then Jacob.
I am concerned about the noise in the backyard. Do we have something in writing that will stipulate what they're telling us verbally tonight?
So the questionnaire itself has outdoor spaces that they're not operating in the outdoors. They'd be out of compliance with their liquor license if they operate outdoors right now.
Can I assure her of something?
Go ahead.
I have filed the application. There is no backyard on it. I've also filed the 500-foot questionnaire with the State Liquor Authority, and there's no backyard on it. So if we operated in the backyard, we'd be not following our method of operation and can lose our license, or at least get a $5,000, $10,000 fine and be under scrutiny.
Can I briefly ask a clarifying question on that?
Yep, go ahead.
So by not operating the backyard, you mean that no liquor that is sold inside can be drunk like in the backyard? So like no guests ever in the backyard?
Correct.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Pauline, does that answer your question?
Yes, Rachel, that answers my questions. My major concern, since we're having controversy right now, is to make sure the backyard is never used.
It's on, they've answered your question then. Okay. Jacob?
Sorry, I'm here. Thank you for that. I appreciate you guys being candid and forthcoming about some of the interactions you've had with the community already, which doesn't sound like have entirely been positive, but who's to say that things can't change. Obviously, you've expressed that you've made efforts to turn those things around, assuage the community, so their concerns. Can you talk about some other methods? It sounds like you're very communicative with the community. Do you anticipate continuing that communication in the event that there was ever a concern where an event spilled over outside, or there was a community member that expressed to you that they were feeling uneasy about something? Could you just talk about some ongoing, mitigation strategies that you might use, to just ensure that everyone's on the same page and everyone's comfortable with the noise levels?
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that, once again, we just remove all sound equipment, speakers, and everything out of the backyard. So you shouldn't be able to listen to anything. We changed our sound equipment inside because we realized that it was resonating a little too much. So we had very small speakers. I don't know if you are familiar, I forgot the brand, but they're small speakers to kind of because our music is not supposed to be loud, it's supposed to be more like mood and whatever. In the letter that I shared for the building, I also included my phone number. Everybody in the building should have it. They can reach out to me directly. Once again, we do run other 2 locations in Park Slope and Fifth Avenue, only 1 block away. I'm always there. I'm always reaching. I'm always looking at my businesses. I'm always there. So I hope and I don't foresee have any issues in the future. But if there is, I'm there to fix it as soon as possible. Once again, the letter that we posted on everybody's door, and that we make copies of it that everybody should have gotten in the building and other buildings next to them. It has my cell phone number. So please use it if there's anything that gets outside of the parameters of what we're promising. Or not promising, what we will do.
Yes, Len?
I would just like to make sure that we hear from the other community members if they wish to speak.
Sure. Yes, let's open up to the community members now that are here. I know that some of you indicated you're here to speak about this applicant. Why don't you let me know if you'd like to speak, and then we can pick who goes first. Okay. All right. So I'll go with Tybalt answered first, and then Samuel, you can go next.
Hi. Yeah. First, thanks for clarifying the thing about the backyard, and that's a huge relief, because as well, at least in my opinion, the backyard was the biggest issue indeed, and so this is not something that well, I hope we will ever have to be concerned about again. Now, one thing, thanks again for the communication, and apologies in advance if I get a bit emotional. It's really not something that I've been in such a situation before, and being bothered in one's home is always something that one want to avoid. Yeah, so the thing is like many in this neighborhood, I kind of moved here to start a family, and I fully sympathize with the hospitality industry and any local business owner. The thing is, I still put a higher value on my rights to, and my family's right to a peace and quiet existence within our homes than the right to have a third liquor license in a 2-block radius for a business owner. Now, I'm again really relieved that the backyard is not going to be in the equation anymore, but it still leaves quite a few points of contention that I still want to mention tonight. Most of what I had planned to talk about was the backyard, so it's actually good. I will have far less to share. But still, some of my neighbors have asked me to share stories that they've had issues essentially with the noise, even with the windows closed. Well, for instance, my upstairs neighbor, who are on the 2nd floor, says it's the same level as the business indoors. Well, basically, what they tell me is that even after the doors are closed and everyone is indoors, the noise level keeps disturbing then their 2 and 4 years olds, Kathy and Dylan. So basically, even with the doors closed, the windows closed, it still is a disturbance. And so I wonder what is planned to upgrade the windows, and I've heard about the sound system that will be upgraded because this current sound system was, I guess, too small for the space, and so having a properly sized sound system will ensure that the noise level will be appropriate. But I still wonder about the windows and the fact that, well, are they still going to be closed always, those windows to the backyard? Because again, having things indoor, if the windows are open, it will not prevent any noise. The other thing that's...
do you want him to answer that question?
Sorry.
Before he does, Thibault, could I just ask you to clarify the sound that you're hearing with the windows and doors closed? Is it music? Is it loud voices? Is it both?
Well, so I am basically sharing verbatim what my neighbor mentioned, and what they mentioned is that even after the doors are closed and everyone is indoor, the noise level keeps disturbing them. They're 2 years old, and they keep hearing this from both the bedroom and the living room. And they did not specify whether it was the music or the people talking. I should say, on my hand, when I was listening to the noise from the inside, I was hearing the people more than the music. But that's on my hand, and I do not speak for the neighbors when answering that.
That's helpful for the owner to know in order to address it.
But was this since they've done the changes or before the changes?
I mean, it was after everyone was inside, and I think the loudspeakers have been changed like recently. So I don't know what happens recently, but what I mentioned is that when the party was inside, windows closed, this will still be disturbing for the kids and people. So we will still hear them from the inside.
So okay. So the question is, what are the noise mitigating factors that you're taking with regard to the windows and doors?
Yeah, if you don't mind me answering. So Trivald, I'm not sure if you received the letter that I sent to everybody, but in there was stating dates where the changes were going to happen. So the system was already changed. The speakers were already changed. So at this point, you should not be hearing any music or sound or bass or anything. And we are going to add some of, I'm not sure what is the material, but it's like a soundproofing kind of like protection that goes around the windows that will stay there and will stay shut, right? And I mean, those are the things that I will list in the letter, and that as of right now, you should not be hearing anything in the backyard towards your windows.
And if I could add something, Ronnie was going to have the system he was talking about had a couple of big speakers. So what he's done is positioned very small speakers throughout the whole restaurant. I think about 8 or 10 of them. This way the music could be played very low instead of having 2 speakers being louder.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to you, Thibault. I'm going to let Samuel ask his question, and then if you have more, we'll come back to your other questions. Okay. So Samuel.
Thank you. So I actually had a similar question because I know that the bar that was there previously, and that was quite a while ago. I think it was called Excelsior. The building was laid out very differently, and now the back opens entirely, right? It's a wall of windows, or I'm not sure, windows or doors. Is your plan to keep those doors and those windows always closed? Because there is, as Thibault was saying, a lot of sound that even from inside of the venue makes its way out into what is essentially an air shaft between our buildings.
Well, yes. As I expressed before, I am in no desire to jeopardize a relationship with your building. I've been trying to communicate that as much as I can. I want to have a good. I want you guys to come to the place. I want you to be our regulars, And so as of right now, I mean, there's not going to be opening on the staff. We're actually going to be reinforcing them with soundproof material, so they will stay shut.
Okay, and is there an intention for your staff or your employees to use the outside area? I know in the past they've used it. They've been setting up and taking down events late at night. Is there an intention that they will be using that space for staging?
No, we actually, like I said, I regret agreeing to the events that was already set up for this location, but. You know, we in future things that we have planned, the contract completely does not include the backyard at all. Not for staffing, not for any events, not for storage, not for anything. It's just not part of the contracts or for regular service.
Okay. Well, Glenn, I'll come back to you in a second. I just want to make sure. Tybalt, did you have other questions? Because I said I would come back to you.
Oh, I just wanted to ask something, yes, but if someone else wants to talk first, I can wait.
Okay. Glenn, do you want to go?
I wanted to make a suggestion to Ronnie and suggest that you work with your neighbors. It's difficult for me to tell from a Google map the configuration of the backyard and the particular acoustic problem that you might have. But there are ways to address it, and you've suggested that you're aware of and are procuring some acoustic materials. But if you perhaps if you've got a lot of glass in the back of your establishment, you might want to put acoustic materials opposite. If there's a wall in the backyard, you might want to have sort of acoustical baffles that prevent it from sort of bouncing back and forth on the walls. So I would encourage you to work with your neighbors to see if you could install such things. I mean, you can do it on your building probably, and you'd have to talk to other building owners, but I don't think it would be very expensive, and I think it would make an appreciable difference.
Well, the stuff that we were putting around the windows was actually to prevent that, because the sound issue that we had in the past was because the doors were open. The glass that is in the backyard is actually soundproof glass.
Right.
Yeah, so it was just a result of having it open and letting the sound come out, and the speakers that we had outside. So, I mean, I will do everything in my power to make sure that any issue is resolved.
Yeah, so I've got years and years of experience with bars in backyards, and it's not always the music. Very often it's just a couple of people have had a couple of drinks and they're having a good time, and they're just shouting at each other and they don't even know it. Your establishment will hold 74 people, 74 howling people. You're not going to contain that sound. So anything you can do to control it outside is going to be very important to your neighbors. And that's within your control. So don't assume that this is resolved. Endeavor to continue to work with them.
I will.
Okay. Okay, we're back to you, Tybalt. Did you have other things?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention some another small concern, but like in the letter, Ronnie mentioned that the rental contracts had been amended to make sure that the staff will always be present and to make sure that things go smoothly and that the neighbors will be respected. And he just also mentioned that he was always around, and I really don't doubt the good faith here. So let me just say first, the thing is it has not really worked out until now. And so what happened a few times, let me just say, is that when people, I think are part of the staff, were installing stuff outdoors without any patrons around, right, without any party going on, people would be almost shouting in the backyard, and those were people from the staff without really any consideration for the surroundings.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry. Can you?
Yeah, there's like the sound coming from your
Jacob, hold on
microphone.
1 second. Jacob, hold on 1 second, please. Thibault, for some odd reason, every time you speak, there's an amazing amount of noise. So what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, if you would jump off and then reconnect, and let's cross our fingers and maybe your sound will be better. Is that okay? Thank you so much.
But now Reggie might have trouble getting back on.
I mean, fingers crossed, but unfortunately it was tolerable to an extent, but at this level, it was just quite obnoxious. We really just couldn't hear him, so.
Well, Thibault's joining back in. Could I just make a comment on his same thread?
Sure.
Because I've experienced that as well.
Yeah, well, can you expand on? We couldn't hear what he was saying.
Yeah, what he was saying was that it's not just patrons, that, you know, there have been staff outside late into the evening. And it's, yeah, even, you know, conversational voices. And there were some people outside working today. I think they were maybe taking down the speakers. We could, you know, I could hear them in my living room, you know, as clear as if they were speaking. They were standing in my apartment. So voices very much carry. And I think the concern, he's joined back, so I won't put words in his mouth, but I think that the concern here is that, you know, we've heard, you know, a lot of speaking to the issue, and we've seen a little bit of action now, you know, as in the days just kind of prior to this liquor license meeting. But, you know, this was an issue throughout the summer, and, you know, there wasn't a lot of action taken on it. And it's been disruptive, you know, to me and to my neighbors for some time now. So we have, I think, concerns about the judgment and the decision-making process that, you know, led us here. And, you know, if they're going to be, you know, running a bar next door to us, abutting our living rooms and our bedrooms, I think we still, even if they're saying that they're not going to use the backyard, we still have some concerns, or at least I personally have some concerns.
Okay.
May I say something, Rachel?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Samuel, I hate that you feel that we're doing this or we reacted just because of like we're getting closer to the hearing in the board. It's not. This was the result of our last interaction that we had with Travolta. He was very upset, and I spoke to your neighbors, and I realized, you know, like it was really bad because we have shut the stuff before. We have, you know, we did not allow anybody late, but we realized that the issue was not the timing of people being in the back. It's just people being in the back. So we reacted right away to that. Obviously, I can understand that you have some doubts, but once again, I mean, I have made a point for all of you guys to have my phone number and to take everything out in the back, to mend all these things. We did some pretty bad mistakes, and I am completely aware of that. But also, I want you to be to understand that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that, once again, my point is to have a good relationship with everybody around us. So I hope, and I know that's how you feel, but I hope you didn't, that we're not doing this because of the hearing. We're doing this because I want to make sure you guys feel proud that we're there, not upset.
Okay, and Thibault, you made it back in. So Samuel tried to finish your point that you were making. Do you want to try again?
I think Samuel did convey what I was trying to say. So I think he mentioned it. But yeah, the essential thing is that, well, yeah, words are kind of cheap, and it seems that there has been some reaction after we started to show anger about the problems rather than proactive behavior from the business. And so that's still a bit concerning for us to see that. Well, I fully I'm happy that you mentioned being listening and that we can call and everything. The thing is, I'm not sure how hands-on you'll be at 2 a.m. On Fridays and Saturdays, when there will be actually people partying in the business right under our windows. And yeah.
Well, the other thing I would say is the community board doesn't just disappear just because, even if we, vote for, in favor of their liquor license, we have, this particular committee only votes on liquor licenses. However, we have the community board as a whole, our district manager handles any of the, as you've seen, when the complaints came in, he acted too and made sure that he got the information to you about this meeting and about everything. So we don't disappear either. And the other thing is, especially with regard to the backyard, if they are, as they've said, if they do anything that has to do with the backyard, that they're putting their liquor license on the line for that, which is a pretty big deal for them. So, I think that, they're looking to have a good relationship with the neighborhood, but on the other side, the neighborhood doesn't disappear either, and you have resources too. So no one goes away, even if they have their liquor license, granted. Is there anyone else from the community that didn't get a chance to speak that wants an opportunity?
Yes, I do. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. So I didn't get the first question that you asked me, because I'm actually a community board member, but just for a different committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my biggest concern and what I'm hearing right now is that it seems like most of the resolution and responsibilities are falling on to the merchant, right? So I'm hearing things like the merchant should have their windows soundproof so that the tenants don't hear the noise or music or whatever outside. But I don't hear any of the tenants demanding that the people who own the property or the apartments that they live in make their windows soundproof. And I feel that's kind of not fair, because I'm born and raised from Park Slope, Brooklyn, for like 30 plus years. Okay. So I've seen that strip change drastically, and that strip is going to continue to change and be almost like a coming attraction strip. This is not 4th Avenue or 3rd Avenue, or even the Gowanus. This is 5th Avenue. And if you're not, I feel like if the tenants are not liking what they're hearing now, what's going to happen in the next 5 years? Because that whole strip has now become, and it has always kind of been, but it's definitely now a commerce strip. And my concern also, because I work in hospitality, I've worked for catering companies and things of that nature, and I also work for city agencies, okay? So I moonlight in different job positions. And my concern also for the merchant or for the owners is that when you shut down a backyard area and you are catering to like weddings and other festive occasions, that's a big hit. That's a big financial hit for this business. I mean, I don't think the owner is going to cut their rent in half because they're not using that backyard. I'm sure that backyard and everything was included in their rent. And I'm just concerned that, I want everybody to be happy. Sometimes we can't have it that way. But I think we're not being completely fair to this owner, and we're not even acknowledging them trying to redeem themselves in this situation. And I just would like to know from the community, what would they do to try to work with this merchant or this business owner? Because, okay, fine, you don't want to have noisy activities back there, but what about when spring comes, 2022, and they get a phone call that maybe somebody who's a yoga instructor want to have meditation out in that backyard? I want to do yoga exercise. You're going to tell me they still can't use their own backyard for a quiet, peaceful event? You know, I feel like it's not fair. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else from the community or anyone from the committee that wants to say something or make a motion?
Hi, this is Gabriel from the
Yes.
community.
Mhm.
If this event space was centered on yoga and such quiet activities, I don't think there would be any objections or issues. I just don't think that's an accurate reflection of reality. I think we have been pretty reasonable over these past several months. It's just gotten to the point where it's become a real big problem. And, you know, people move to Park Slope and live there largely because they want to raise their families there. There's a great school district. You know, some of us in the building have 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds. And our first priority is our children. And I think that should be the community's first priority as well.
Yes, sorry, Glenn. I think Ronnie wants to say something.
I just wanted to speak to what the last few people spoke to.
Sure.
The New York City zoning resolution specifies how property can be used. And in fact, commercial use in a residential neighborhood, and these are residential neighborhoods that we're talking about, is limited to the interior space, with the exception of eating and drinking establishments, which are defined as areas outdoors requiring waitress service. Now, that has fallen by the wayside as these commercial strips have developed, as we have more and more liquor licenses proliferating throughout the community. And it's vitally important that we maintain the residential character, the quality of life in these communities, because that's what they are. The commercial activity is new, and they should make every effort to fit into the community and be good neighbors, because they're expecting the community to come to their establishments. So it's very reasonable for neighbors to ask the commercial owners to take steps to limit the effect on the quality of life of the residents.
Okay, Rebecca, I saw your hand.
Yeah. I see Kia's point though, in being that, you know, obviously I think that there have been steps to remediate. And, you know, I think a lot of times when you live in these mixed use buildings, especially on Fifth Avenue, which I lived on Fifth Avenue above a commercial space for years, and sometimes the noise was really not ideal, is also that, you know, a landlord does own a mixed use building. And I do think that, you know, perhaps updating the windows throughout the entire building would be helpful. So I do see Kia's point about maybe, you know, obviously you have a different relationship with your landlord when you're a commercial tenant versus a residential tenant, but maybe some coming together on that to make sure, I know as a commercial tenant, you are, you know, more responsible for retrofitting your space in a way that residential tenants are definitely not in the city. But it does sound somewhat like, despite remediation efforts made by the commercial tenant, that they've definitely taken upon themselves with like structural changes, that the sound is penetrating the building itself, which might be in part a building issue. So I think I just wanted to kind of back up Kia's point, because I think that there's something to that.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Could I?
Okay. Yes. Samuel, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Yes, sorry, I was talking on mute there. Thank you. I would just like to clarify that we are not actually neighbors on Fifth Ave. We live on 6th Street. We have, but we abut the back of this commercial building, and it's a co-op building with a lot of families and children in it. And we've had other tenants in that space, and I wouldn't say never have had any issues, but at least with the previous tenants, have not encountered anything like we have, like we've been facing over the summer.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. I wasn't sure exactly where you were positioned.
Yeah, this is Jacob. I guess I'm just wondering, maybe perhaps in the interest of time and in light of a lot of testimony that was heard here, if there's like, I don't know, if we can make a motion, for the community board to discuss some stipulations or options or things that we can do to try and ensure that everyone sort of is happy in some way, shape, or form here for this for some sort of trial, some sort of period where we sort of give this a shot, so to speak. I'm wondering if there are additional, Glenn, I know that you're a very veteran, been here for many years, if there are things that we can, put on the table here to discuss to sort of ensure that all parties are happy and that everyone sort of has a chance to make this work.
Just based on what their application itself says, I'm not sure that there's anything that we can do that is outside of that.
Yeah, Rachel, may I say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Jacob, Samuel, Trivald, and Gabriel. Especially Gabriel, because you're having the only one that I've been emailing back and forth. I invite you to come meet me and come see the inside and things that we have done. Gabriel, I invited you plenty of times. I know everybody's very upset. We've been fixing things, but you guys have to give me an opportunity to mend all of these things and to build a good relationship. There's nothing that can happen if you guys just come in. I'll invite you inside and see what's going on, see what we have changed, see what we have fixed. And that's all I ask. I mean, once again, my goal here is to have a good relationship with all of you, for you guys to come in, to feel proud that we're there, to have a nice establishment next to you, and to not intrude in the tranquility of your lifestyle. But I've made everything in my power so far, and I'm gonna continue to do it. I won't stop. But I would love for you guys to give the chance to come, stop by, see, and so we can also meet and show you what we've done at the place. So to completely eliminate the sound issue.
Can I jump in for 1 second?
Yes.
Yes, I talked to Ronnie. He told me about the problem he had with the backyard. We didn't come here to try to keep the backyard and say we'll close it at 9, we'll close it at 10. He completely took the backyard off the table, not using it whatsoever, not trying to negotiate an earlier closing. He voluntarily said, I'm not going to use the backyard. I've heard from these neighbors, and he was upset about it. He does operate Rachel's Taqueria down the block. And I don't think you've had any problems with that. And I think he's going to run this just as professionally. At this point, it seems like the backyard is the problem, or at this point was the problem. That's all.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion for a recommendation?
I'm letting somebody else go first this time.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm Jacob. I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion to approve by Jacob, seconded by Reg. Any discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of the motion to recommend to approve the application as presented? You can, again, if you don't want to, if you either abstain or disapprove, put it into the chat. Otherwise, we'll consider that you've approved it.
I approve.
Okay. Okay, I don't see anything. Then the motion for the recommendation has passed. So thank you. We wish you luck. And again, the same as the prior applicant, we'll present it to the full board at the next meeting. And we do wish you good luck with everything. And we do hope that you and the neighbors can come to a good resolution and continue the conversation.
I'll echo Rachel's sentiment. That's the most important thing you can do. This is, I think, a good result, the best that could be hoped for. The fact that they are not using the backyard is the biggest benefit to you, because I can tell you the backyards are awful when it's just a bar. So good luck with this.
Thank you.
And Rachel,
Backyards in a certain
I think
context,
there are
right, Glenn?
7 of us, and I think we might have quorum. So these
I
might be
think
I thought we
technically
had
we
quorum.
do.
That's the only reason why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, I think technically we do, because a community, a board member, even though they're not part of our committee, counts, I think, towards quorum. So
No, it doesn't.
no,
No.
but we don't have quorum then.
I think our committee is only like 12 people, right? So
Mike
7
said
is
we had to
quorum.
have 7. He'll figure it out.
Well, they will. And in fact, you might ask Mike to clarify what our roster is.
I did,
Because-
and
Oh, you
he
did?
told me
Okay.
7. So
Okay.
And it's not 7 here currently?
We have 7.
Yeah, that's my point.
how do we have 7? 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're not counting Reg because he's listed as Brooklyn
Right.
Community Board.
6, 7. Oh, we do have
Still
7.
red.
Okay, yeah, we did. We have motions.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's all
Finally,
I've been
we're all
trying
on the same page.
Okay, excellent. So both motions did pass.
Yeah.
Unanimously both ways. Okay, excellent. Even better. Okay,
That will streamline things at the board meeting.
it absolutely will.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any new business? No. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
See you next time.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Good night.
Motion
Thank
to adjourn.
you.
Thank you
Good
for all the
night.
testimony
Bye.
tonight. It was good to hear from many different sides on these issues.
All right, good night.
So long.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
I'm still Reg.
Just me and you, Alex.
Vi chiamo fra un attimo. Ciao.